'Cause tonight would be the night that I would draw for you over again. Kiss drawings in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm such a dork. Triangles are an easy way to kind of create style, and you can start putting them into perspective really quickly. All you're thinking about is like a pyramid, for the most part, when you're putting them into 3D space, right? 3D. There's gonna be times where you can just work off of a flat shape, but you're also like, even though you draw it flat, you're still remembering that there's 3D space, you know? So like, let's say I take this triangle here, I can turn it into like a little puppy nose or something. So I can draw, you see I'm using that shape as a guide, and then I'm gonna kind of create a dog's nose, you see that? And right here it becomes sort of like the bottom half of the nose, and this is the top. See? And that's just with using the triangle shape. Same as if I make one a little bit longer, if I make a longer triangle. This is the bridge of the nose. Bridge. See? And then I'm gonna put my triangular, like triangles here for the nostrils, just to keep the same shape. And then I'm gonna create the actual nostril holes. Just gonna dip down into here. There's the other side, see? And then this is the meat of your nose. And you have yourself a stylized nose. You know, when you're drawing actual portraits, you're not gonna be as sharp as this, but this is a good way to start, just to understand how it works. So you have, you know, the top part right here. So this is the part that's like above, where you see like the shiny part, and then this is the bottom part of your nose. These are good ways to like practice. So you can start stacking your shapes, and then this is another thing you want to start working on, is stacking shapes, because basically when you're drawing, all you're doing is stacking these things together to create something. So if you can start just doing something as simple as this and drawing out, you know, putting one in front of the other, see, like that, and learning how to use that space to create that illusion of like shapes being in front, then you're already setting yourself for a lot of cool drawings, a lot of cool designs. You can even do things where it's like cut into something else, you see? So I'm gonna cut into this one, see? And I'm gonna have, let's say, an arrow or like a shape going through it. Shapes flowing through it or something, like an arrow flowing through. So that's stuff you can do afterwards. You can start to do. Highlight things that you want to highlight things that you want to emphasize. So it's top nose. You know, I'm gonna start like putting things, changing the variation of size of the shape too, of the triangle. Make some look like that. Put it back. You can have some pointing towards you and going it back into space. You can divide these shapes. Easy things like this. This is a great way to practice, to build up your confidence with your lines too. You know, it builds up your confidence and it gets you loose. Like, this is a perfect way to build up your sketchbook. You can start creating things like this and you start playing around. You see how I'm building up my sketchbook, and over time you start doing this easily. I'm gonna make a wide triangle. It's like a cartoon type of nose. So I'm gonna stick with a triangle here, right? Another triangle here, and I'm gonna just create the nostril, and I'm using that shape as a guide. See that? And then I have myself a cartoon type of nose. Kind of like doing like push-ups, you know, stuff like that. The more push-ups you do, the stronger you get, right? So you kind of think about the same thing. The more sketches you put in onto your sketchbook, the stronger, the more confident, the more easier it'll get to see these things and make them happen, and your ideas kind of start falling onto the page a lot easier. So that's one thing you want to look forward to, is being able to transfer your ideas. You can start doing things like this. So, and then don't worry about being perfect either. Like, you see how this line is a little wobbly? I'm not stressed about that. I'm just keep going. I'm gonna make this one look like a pyramid. I'm gonna show the inside of this one. See that? And I'm gonna kind of define that shape. And it's gonna go up to the top. So this is another way you want to start seeing how you can make the insides of shapes as well. Like, you can start identifying those things inside of them, because these are things that you're going to be able to draw, or you can create buildings, you could create different perspectives, so on and so forth. Get yourself to do like 5 minutes a day, not even, or 5 minutes every other day. It doesn't even have to be like a whole full page. You can just do, just practice getting that one shape, and that's good. That's all you need. And then the goal is to like just keep yourself drawing, not to have perfection. I think that's what is like a marathon or a triathlon. You want to keep going. You got to do all these things to get to the finish line. And even when you get to that finish line, there's other things you want to learn too. But yeah, so you could do like thin triangles, you could do thick triangles, stuff like that to kind of build it up. Well, that's about it. It's time for drawing objectives. Practice your triangles, fill up a sketchbook page, and have fun.